Peter Chilson teaches literature and writing at Washington State University. He devotes much of his time to hands-on workshop coursework and discussion of literary theory. To many, this commitment would be one's primary passion and job. But Chilson is also an accomplished and award-winning author.
My first book of fiction. It's my second book. My first book was a non-fiction book about Africa, and this is a collection of stories about Africa, about Americans trying to cope with Africa and Africans trying to cope with America, and about the clash of ideas and cultural values, and the exchange, the interchange of ideas as well, and some of the humorous and also some of the painful things that go on when cultures collide.
What Chilson didn't mention was that his book just won the prestigious Breadloaf Writers Conference Bakeless Nason Prize in Fiction for his collection of short stories. The award won him national publication with Houghton Mifflin.
We're very lucky to be learning from a published author. Yeah, Joshua, he's pretty good. And he's a good guy. He's nice and he encourages us to be the best writers we can. And, you know, gotta love the backbone of story.
Peter is awkward, socially awkward. He's kind of like a pencil. But you have to respect him because he's published. And I read his story. It's pretty good. So he seems like he knows what he's talking about. That helps me because you know, he's more successful than I am, so I guess it's kind of a mentor.
Joking aside, Chilson does know what he's talking about. He spent 2 years in the Peace Corps in Africa and has been back several times for research.
Yeah, I spent 2 years in Niger as an English teacher in a small village, a place called Buza, teaching in a junior high school. And I spent about 2.5 years in Niger altogether. That's in central West Africa. And then I went on to freelance as a journalist based in Ivory Coast, in Abidjan, another West African country, for another couple of years.
Chilson's work-like approach to writing is something he likes to pass along to his students.
He's a pretty cool teacher. The fact that he's a writer makes it a lot better because he's been there, he kind of tells us what to look for in a grad school if we're interested in that, or like he started the class out reading a bit of his story that had been published, and that kicked ass. And like as a teacher, he usually gives really good feedback. He focuses the class on workshop, which just helps your writing in general versus sitting there and lecturing you the whole period, which I've had a few teachers do. And when he does makeup class, he makes it fun by having it at the coffee house, so
Cool.
Good guy.
A year off to do research, mainly for this book, to complete this book. And I didn't teach for a year, and I actually found it fairly difficult. I missed the job much more than I thought I would, so it was a relief to come back. So I find the teaching feeds the writing, and the writing feeds the teaching, so the two dovetail quite nicely.